Well, hi there. So in this video, we're going to do some quick practice related to calculating the unemployment rate and the labor force participation rate. So let's get started. Okay, so the first section up here just says Argentina's civilian working age population is 50. The labor force rate is 70%. The unemployment rate is 20. How many employed people are we dealing with? So first, we have to figure out how many people are in the labor force of this of this population. And 70% of 50 million is 35 million. So that's our labor force, right? Is 70% of 35. And then we know the number of employed people is 80% of that. Now I do, well, what's 20% of this? 10% of it is 3.5. So that means 20% is 7. So that means our unemployed is 7. So the employed equals 35 minus 7 is 28 million. And so how did we do that? We went 50 times 0.7 to get the labor force, and then times 0.2 to get that, and we subtract it out of that. So Canada civilian working age population 60, labor force participation rate 75, unemployment's 20. What's the unemployed number? So 60 times 0.75 is equal to 45. That's our labor force. Multiply that times 0.2 is equal to our unemployed, and that's going to be 9 million people, right? So 9 million people, 28 million people. And then Chile's civilian working age population is 40, labor force rate's 50, 10%. Number of people in labor force. So this, we don't need that 10%. We just need 50% of 40. So 40 times 0.5 is equal to 20 million. So 20 million people. Last question here says Sophia Land, we get some data. The total amount of unemployed workers is these. So unemployed equals 20. The employed equals 180. So if we add these two groups together, because none of these three are in the labor force, those are our labor force. So our labor force is 200. Are not in the labor force is equal to 100. So that just kind of sums some of our numbers here together for us. Unemployment rate in Sophia Land, show your work. Well, that's the number of unemployed, 20 out of the labor force, 200, which is 10%. That's our UE out of the labor force. Labor force participation rate is going to be 200 out of 300, and that's equal to 67%. That's the labor force out of the population. So hopefully this helped you with kind of doing some calculations related to employment and the labor force. I'll see you next time.